Borderlands is a looter shooter pioneer, peaking with the second entry way back in 2012. Borderlands 2 is a legendary game with excellent gameplay, fun loot mechanics, great boss fights, and of course, one of the greatest villains of that era of gaming. Not to mention, some great DLC. But this video isn't about Borderlands 2. Well, not really. Back in 2021, with the announcement of Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, we got Tiny Tina's Assault on the Dragon Keep, a Wonderlands one-shot adventure. An absolute mouthful of a game, and the first time I can ever think of in which an old DLC that was nearly 10 years old at that point got turned into a standalone game. And that's not to say there haven't been plenty of standalone DLCs, but it's the first time I can ever think of in which one so old got made into a standalone game. So now, 2 years later, I've decided to go back, having played and platinumed Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, go back to where it all started and play Tiny Tina's Assault on the Dragon Keep, a Wonderlands one-shot adventure. I think I got it. That was too many takes. With Assault on the Dragon Keep being a former DLC made standalone, I figured it would be a short plat, no problem. Boy was I wrong. Assault on the Dragon Keep opens with Tina DMing a game of bunkers and badasses for the original Borderlands crew, minus Roland despite Tina wanting to wait for him. You're narrated onto the docks of potentially little importance. Boy do I wish they really were of little importance. And it's on those docks you get your first shields and guns. You get to a gate and are insta-killed by an overpowered boss, after which Tina is reminded by Lilith that's no way to start a campaign. So instead, you get to kick Mr. Boney Pants' ass. Or pants, I suppose. You get to fire something generic name and get some gags based around this being a tabletop game. Giant dice, Tina forgetting to put down a figure, that kind of thing. Torque shows up and is easily the best part of the opening. Blow up the ocean! You discover your mission is to find the Queen, who has gone into the forest to reverse the darkness the handsome sorcerers put onto the world. You do some missions, Roland shows up as an in-game character, continuing to torture Lilith over the death of her boyfriend. You find out the guy who's obviously bad is obviously bad when he resurrects 4 kings to try and kill you. Roland sometimes helps depending on your playthrough, and then you head into the mines in which all the dwarves are Salvador. You kill the king of the dwarfs because, well, brick. You do some boss fights, deal with Claptrap, Mordecai says fart. You exit the mines and go into the layer of infinite agony, in which the infinite agony comes from how terrible the map layout is, and it's impossible to find your way through. You exit the layer of ungodly Borderlands minimaps and head to the Dragon Keep. You head up the Dragon Keep, and the handsome sorcerer gets absolutely decked. And then the game decides to hit you in the feels. Now throughout the game, Tina has been intentionally or unintentionally torturing Mordecai and Lilith about the deaths of their respective boyfriends. And it's in this final scene, after defeating the handsome sorcerer, that he fires a spell at the back of the White Knight, aka Roland. At this point, Tina has a mild breakdown about how she wants to keep Roland and Bloodwing alive in the game because it's her world and she wants things to go the way she wants them to. Thankfully, this time Roland isn't killed. Bloodwing swoops in, saves the day, the handsome sorcerer gets got, and Queen Buttstallion comes out in all of her glory. Honestly, I wasn't expecting to be sad at the end of this. It really came out of left field, but it was quite well done. I enjoyed it. And of course, Claptrap says something stupid and ruins it.
And they'd remember that no matter how bad things got, they were never truly alone so long as they had each other.
I love you guys.
Why did you cry?
And
Honestly, if you just play it once for the story, it really is a great experience, and I highly recommend, especially for the price. But y'all have come to know at this point that's not what we do here. We come here for plats. I played the story with a friend, doing all the side quests available along the way. Once the game is beat, a few more side quests open. Of course, one of those is the game's raid boss. So let's talk about that raid boss, shall we? Assault on the Dragon Keep's raid boss is really 4 bosses. It's 4 dragons. A fire dragon, a corrode dragon, a slag dragon, and a healing dragon. It was when we got to the raid boss that we really discovered just how terrible our character pairing was. Now I played Gage. I've been meaning to do a Borderlands playthrough with her for a while, and this was finally my chance to jump on that. I focused on 2 of the 3 trees, completely ignoring Anarchy as it really didn't fit what I wanted to do with her. This buffed the absolute hell out of Death Trap, gave me a ton of elemental damage, not to mention an AoE effect after every time I reload. Now my co-op partner Anthony's build, he played the Psycho. And while I'm not certain which trees he went down, by the time we got to the raid boss we had some issues. His build relied primarily on doing melee damage, and his only way of healing was to do overkill damage. And to top it all off, he could take team damage. Now you may see where this is going. This made it quite difficult for us to get good damage off while they were flying. And then when they did finally land, Anthony tended to get screwed over pretty hard by the fire dragon with his invincibility and floor AoE of fire. And, well, my AoE damage may have killed him a few times while he was trying to res me, because I would fire, reload, blast him with shock and fire, and he would die, and we would have to reset. We're not talking about how many times that happened. Oh, and his build relied on him losing shields and taking damage. Well, one of Deathtrap's abilities was healing a party member's shields. Whoops! So, needless to say, we did not have a good party for this fight. However, after numerous failures, we got our strat down. We started by taking out the fire dragon. To get them to land, you had to shoot them while they're flying, so we would focus on the fire dragon first, ignoring everything else, so we would land, do the invincible thing, fire on the ground, then Anthony would pop his ability, and absolutely spam him with melee. After around 3 or 4 landings, we got the fire dragon out. This was great, meaning now, as soon as they landed, Anthony was able to pop his ability and dump damage into them, since none of them had any sort of invincibility thing. Next, we targeted the slag dragon. The bonus damage buff he gave to the other dragons made him a prime target. He was a fairly easy one to take down. He would land, slag you. As long as we weren't getting hit by other stuff, we were able to kill him pretty quickly and pretty effectively. Next, we took out the healing dragon. So long as you don't shoot him while he's flying, he never lands and heals any of the other dragons, making him effectively useless, just doing occasional shock damage to you. When we were taking him out, he continued to heal up the corrode dragon, but it didn't matter as we were focused on getting him out of the game, so we were right down to 1. Now you might think, why did we do the corrode dragon last? We wanted to keep him alive for as long as we could, so that during the fight we could make him land every once in a while and spawn his little mini enemies. Having the mini enemies wandering around the arena meant we had something to get us up when we were on second wind. The strat worked great, and once we had it down pat, we got it first try. The next big endgame side quest is Myrtleyn's Temple. It's a basic wave arena, and it's great for gaining levels, although Anthony did keep dying to the spike pits on round 5 wave 1. By the end of this, we were about level 21. At this point, we were ready to enter true Vault Hunter mode. In terms of trophies, all I had left was the character-specific trophies, the level 25 and 35 trophies, challenge accepted, and cute loot. Being an optimistic fool and reading a few trophy guides, I decided to start trying to get cute loot while finishing off the character challenges. Cute loot is quite possibly the worst single trophy I've ever had to do. Cute loot requires you to kill a chubby. If you're familiar with the Borderlands series, chubby enemies spawn at a much decreased rate and give you extra loot while having a ton of HP. Normally, getting chubbies is fairly easily. It's one of those things that I did in Borderlands 2 for the platinum without even realizing I did it. But no, not in Assault on the Dragon Keep. In Assault on the Dragon Keep, the only chubbies are skeletons. According to the multitude of guides I searched, there are 3 likely spawn locations. Right as you enter the Dragon Keep, the Lair of Infinite Agony, when you go up the elevator, out the hall, and to the right. And of course, the docks of potentially little importance. When you exit from the hub area, turn to your left, and there's a golem fighting up to 6 skeletons. Doing the grind on the docks requires about a minute of gameplay per attempt. When you exit fire something, you turn, there will be 3 skeletons spawning fighting the golem. With each death of the skeleton, spawns another skeleton until 6 have spawned in total, at which point you quit the game, reload it, and try again. After many attempts, I had completed all of my character challenges and was getting a little bored, so I decided to complete my True Vault Hunter mode playthrough. After finishing my True Vault Hunter mode playthrough, I was about level 31. I had started playthroughs with a few other characters, gotten the trophies for them, and was missing 4 trophies. Level 35, Zero's Deception mode for 10 seconds, Gunzerk for 90 seconds, and cute loot. And it was at that point I decided I was going to do nothing but try for cute loot until I finish the trophy and kill a chubby. It took 24 hours to get a chubby to spawn. I spent 24 real hours closing and opening my game, shooting fucking 5 skeletons, and getting no chubby spawn. When I finally got it, it was at work, on my lunch break, on my PS Portal. So you get no live reaction, despite the dozens of hours I recorded, the dozens of gigabytes it has taken up. I got it at work with no live reaction. So for your sake, here's a dramatic reenactment. Now let's talk math on that. I don't want to bore you, but when you really break down how statistically infrequent it is, it's disgusting. So let's set aside the fact that there are hundreds of skeletons that you kill throughout the game and break it down to only my attempts for this specific trophy on the beach. I spent 24 hours doing this. Multiply that by 60, you get 1440. As I said earlier, it takes about a minute to do this entire process. It's usually less, but let's round up. At that point, you've done 1440 attempts. Now there are 6 skeletons per, so by that math, you get 8,640 chances. And I only got 1 in that entire time. That's 1 out of 8,640. That's like trying to get a shiny in early Pokemon. Want to break that down into percentages? That's a 0.011574% chance of getting this damn chubby. You can get scratch card wins of over $100 more frequently than that. This is by far one of the worst, most painful trophies I have ever had the misfortune of attempting. Going into this playthrough, my friend Anthony had fully intended on getting the Platinum Trophy as well. Having seen how much suffering I went through, he decided to give up because he's not trophy crazy like my dumbasses. With this finally complete, I finished off level 35 with Merlin's Temple, rejoined Anthony's True Vault Hunter mode with a fresh Zero and Salvador to get them to level 11 and 15 respectively, by letting him do Merlin's Temple while I sat up in the little cage after getting killed and watched, and occasionally, due to my sheer skill, still got killed despite being a glorified spectator. And that's it. My first plat of many in 2024. It was supposed to be a 25-hour plat. This video was supposed to come out a week ago. But here we are, 48 hours in the game and a week late, but I'm finally done. While I can firmly recommend this game for those who enjoy Borderlands, if you have any desire to get the Platinum Trophy, don't. Not only is the RNG of the Cute Loot Trophy awful, but you have to do 7 playthroughs. Not necessarily 7 complete, but 7 playthroughs. From a trophy hunting perspective, this game is a nightmare. You're required to play co-op for a single trophy, as well as a challenge that contributes to another trophy. You have to play every character to a minimum of level 6, upwards to level 15, and at least 1 playthrough that manages to get you to level 35. And to top it all off, you have one of the worst RNG trophies I have encountered, with a stupidly low chance that makes me so glad Pokemon never put achievements into their damn games. Thank you, Nintendo. That's the only time I'll ever appreciate you not doing fucking achievements. Honestly, I like the story. 10 out of 10. I'll never play this game again. It felt great to be done with it. Bye-bye.